Okay, it's the 12th of August and it's a good clear 4 days after the day of in-bulk, and the weather is starting to get better, believe it or not. I know at the moment it's kind of making a liar out of me with this cloud that's just quite recently come over, and it was pissing with rain this morning, but we've had a couple of nice days and I've had enough clear weather this afternoon to really get on with the third of these double solar panels, these folding ones. That'll go up there hopefully by the end of today. It's the third and final one of these double ones. Obviously I've got my single one here that I took apart. I don't know what I'm going to ultimately do with that, but this will go up on the lean-to, and I've already done the framing. It was really quick this time because I knew exactly what I was doing. Mounting these bits of galvy steel there. If you can see that screwing there and there just to hold these two together, and the other bit of galvy steel here. Of course, one slight refinement was, what was I going to use for the ballast today? Well, all I really had on hand was this piece of, it's actually peach. It's a branch off our peach tree, and there's our peach tree there. It's looking pretty terrible, but it still makes some nice peaches, so we sort of left it there, even though it sort of fell down in one of the winds here and sort of fell in half. But this branch came off, it was one of the branches I cut off after that happened, and it's been maturing in the woodshed, and it might have easily ended up as firewood, but sort of felt like doing something with it. But I don't really have any sawmilling gear, not even a chainsaw, so that was probably out of the option. And I'm not really a carver, and I don't have a lathe, so I think this is a decent use for it. Oh look, and here comes the rain. So I used a bit of old TV aerial that I had, I think that my neighbour kindly gave me, or it might have been one off our own roof. Stapled it in and just bolted it to the end. Obviously when I sling it up on the roof I'll take out these bolts and redo it once it's up there, so then it's a lot easier to move. Okay, we've got a bit of spits of rain, but hopefully I can still get it up. Only thing I've got to do now with this is do a bit of wiring. It's got the original cable I had when it was up on the shed here, still connected to it. I just want the short tail to go to the connector, and then this cable will actually become the other end. I know I could be slack and just wire the tail on the other end and just plug it into here, but if I did that, then I would have this wiring on these panels would be reverse polarity to the wiring on those ones, and at some point that could become bad. So I prefer to have them universal, so that if I shift these panels around on the roof and unplug the cables, I can plug any tail into any lead up there and no problems. So yeah, so that's basically it. Not much to it. Folding panels, half my work, well, more than half my work's already done in the folding brackets that come with them, and I just strengthen them up, add some ballast. Should do the job quite nicely. It's not tantalised or anything, so of course I've just painted a bit of engine oil onto the end grain here to just protect that a bit, but it's mainly going to be undercover, so it shouldn't get wet too often. It should last a long time before the rottage gets to it and makes it dicey, so I'll keep an eye on it. So I might as well stop the video now and carry on. Okay, well this morning I'm up on the roof. It's a really good view from up here, for one reason only, and that's to show you my new installation of solar panels. Well, the one I was working on yesterday is up here with the ones I've previously done, so I might actually just go through all three of them. This is the first one I put up. It's been up here for well over a year, probably getting on, I don't know, about 2 years, but well over a year anyway. And it was the first one I made up. By my standards, primitive. I use this big bit of galvy steel here to make the base for it. Machine screwed the brackets for these folding panels onto it. And on the front I actually used hinges as a convenient way of getting some angles. Probably a wasteful way of using hinges too. Whoa, creaky old roof. And I had just this battery here sitting in the middle originally as ballast, but in one strong wind it actually flipped over because it got purchase under there, and this sort of acted as a sail and flipped the whole thing over. So now there's two batteries, two dead batteries. This is kind of what I use batteries for that are no good. I just use them as weight, and it is indeed screwed to the iron to just stop the wind from getting that purchase. I had to do it. Pretty primitive, but it's been up here for over a year and had no further problems with it. It's good. This way here is sort of, well, due north would be out this way. This is sort of, well, northwest, you know, maybe northwest, you know, as you can see because of that tree. The optimum angle is here, so these panels are really the whole point of them, and why I put this one up in the first place was to capture the afternoon sun. So this is the second one I did just a little bit before the winter solstice, so you know, a couple of months ago now. It is not attached to the roof. I came up with this, what I believe, far superior skeletal kind of base here, which is just a piece of that Galvy steel just machine screwed on to each side to hold the brackets open, and they are actually, I don't know if I can get those. This potato doesn't have macro, unfortunately. They are bolted together this time round to get them solid. Of course, same at the other end. But for the ballast, I came up with a different idea. I didn't have any spare batteries lying around for it. Actually, because the last two I used on that installation over there, as would happen. But I had this piece of fence post, which is of course tannalized. That was found down Foxton Beach during a firewood mission. So I thought, well, I'll use it for this. It's a bit rough for anything else. I'd already screwed this bottom on here, so all I did was make these straps, which incidentally are from the packaging one of my newer panels came in, you know, that packaged up the box, strapped up the cardboard, and so that's strapped on there pretty securely, and that stops it from moving. The skeletal form makes it, you know, it doesn't get that aerofoil effect, sail effect, and flip over. So this one's been good too, and there's been some strong wind since I put this up, and there's been no problems. And of course, here's the latest one I did yesterday. Got it up just as the sun was setting, so I didn't even get to test it up on the roof, sort of a wet test. I did a dry test on the cables and stuff earlier, but you know, and it's the same technique, just slightly refined or adapted, because all I had for ballast this time around was this piece of peach branch that came off our lovely peach tree. And I've already showed that in the other video anyway, so I shouldn't repeat myself because this is all going to be one video. And you can see I used a bit of TV antenna, aluminium there, and so this one's just sitting here too, just like that. So that's the three. I don't have any more of these, so I guess that's the final one. If I do ever get any more, well, this is the way I'll do it, because it seems to be the best way to do it. Skeletal frame and strap the ballast along the middle. Using a wooden long sort of ballast is better than using the batteries, I think, because the weight's more evenly distributed, even though it's probably not any heavier. As you can see, our roof is on the lean-to is really poor. There's more silicone here than metal, especially on this half of it. This half here is the older part of it. This part here is slightly newer. The cables, I've just used these 2-pole sort of bullet type connectors that came with the panels. these are the original cables that came with these, and they work well enough. The gauge is nice and thick inside those cables, good enough for the job, and they just come down here and they just follow, of course, down here. Had to do a bit of a splice-a-roo here to get the length of this third one. Yeah, and they just go down to the connector down there, which takes it into the main bus line, which takes it to the solar room. So there we go. Oh my god, 6 minutes 33. I didn't think this was going to be such a long video, but hey, you know, there we go. Well, you can see the solar panels on that shed from up here. Now that one over there, look, I was a zoom. This is, I think, the first time I've ever done a zoom when making one of these videos. That panel there is a 200 watt, 195 watt monocrystalline. It's damaged and it's covered in polycarbonate. I bought two of these, about 2.5 years ago or so now, for $100 each, damaged. But that was back when they were $400 each, good. So I got a pretty good deal at the time, I thought. Here's the second one, which was the second one I put up, and I fixed it in a more refined way. I painted it in clear plastic spray to counteract the shattered glass effect, the broken windscreen effect. And the bit where the piercing was there, you can see that white dot, that silicone where I just sort of sealed it up with silicone, and those two panels around where that puncture is are damaged, so I just bypassed them, I just routed around them. This one down here, I didn't do that, I just relied on the bypass diodes, which is severely cut down the output of it. So between the polycarbonate on it and the fact I didn't bypass the damaged cells, this one is putting out sweet FA. So today I'm actually going to take that one down and start to bring it up to the standard of this one, and we should get some serious amps out of it, and that'll be all. You can see the lighthouse down there, wow, and my little 6-volt solar panel that I like to move around and follow the sun, only really because it gets me more acquainted with where the sun actually is at various parts of the day and various times of the year, you know. So that'll do.